If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Well, as I commonly do, is I have a video every now and then where I go through a list of questions people have asked me, and I try to answer them. That way everybody has the answers to the questions. Start out with the first question. The other day I made a video about being debt-free and saving money. Well, one of the things I said is spending money is like an addiction. Well, I shouldn't have used the word like, because spending money can be an addiction. I know people who just are obsessed with spending money. In the video I said, Carolyn and I went out and spent $10 on an ice cream, and it pained us to spend that kind of money on an ice cream. Man, it was just terrible how much money it was. And so this lady said, well, if spending money can be an addiction, couldn't it also be an addiction not to spend money? Because she implied that spending the $10 on the ice cream was painful to us. She also said, I think that you have to have a balance in life to be comfortable. That, yeah, once you've saved up your money, you have an emergency fund, that, you know, you should let loose with a little bit of money and put it in your budget. Well, first of all, it is in our budget. We do have a budget where we can go out, and our fast food budget. And so that $10 went on the fast food, but that doesn't make it any more comfortable to spend the money. Now, she was implying that once you have gotten through your addiction, that it's okay to go ahead and start spending money again. Well, as a former smoker, I can tell you there are times that I would love to have a cigarette. But I know if I pick up another cigarette, I'm going to end up smoking all the time again. I would get addicted really easy, and there I am, smoking again. So, no, there is no balance between an addiction and not an addiction. Either you are addicted or you're recovering from that addiction. So if you're addicted to spending money and you stop spending money and think, okay, well, I'm just going to spend a little bit this time. No, you're going to be right back into your addiction, just like I would if I start smoking. So no, it's a constant discipline to stay away from things that are bad for you, and spending money is bad for you. Just like smoking is bad for you. It's an addiction. It's something that you have to do, that you're dependent on. One of the questions I get regularly, and I'm getting ready to talk about a specific one, is why don't you show us little tips and tricks to living this lifestyle? We really think that you should make some videos on how to do, you know, some tips and tricks. And specifically, last August, so a year ago, August, I made a video about a rocket stove. And it is a neat little thing. It's a neat little toy. We made it out of a coffee can and a vegetable can. I'm not even going to get into details. If you want to learn how to make a rocket stove, just YouTube it. Or you can check out our rocket stove video. Anyway, they asked me to do a video, a follow-up video on that rocket stove, and wanted me to make more videos about little tips and tricks and things. Well, I make videos all the time about tips and tricks, about the realistic lifestyle of this adventure and things that we do. The rocket stove is a toy. It got damaged, the one we made, in the pop-up camper fire. And I was so thankful that piece of junk was out of my life. And I told Carolyn, we're never making another one. Now it's gone. It's just a huge inconvenience. You're always having to find a spot to put it. It's always in the way. You rarely use it when it's not raining, or you know, you feel like you're going to spend some time out there. You'll set it up. But why set this up when I have a perfectly good campfire that I could use to cook my food? These little tips and tricks people talk about that I need to show, they're more, here's the tip and the trick. Don't get it. When you get out here, it's just going to be in the way. It's aggravating. Here's some of the tips and tricks that I try to promote. You're going to need a water purification system. I use the Berkey. That is a tip or a trick, something that we always use. Now, you're not going to want to clog up your filter if you're using stream water or really rusty water. So here's another tip. Build yourself, or find a way to pre-filter your water. Now, we use this little in-house filtration system that I bought from Walmart. It was $30, and you can buy the replacement filters for $8, and you can screw your hoses into it. And that is something that you're going to need. That's a tip or a trick. The rocket stove is just in the way. You don't need it. Another tip or trick is our refrigerator. I talk about the refrigerator all the time. People say, oh, you got to have a DC refrigerator, you got to have a DC refrigerator. Those are very expensive. And if it ever goes out on you, you're going to have to replace it. I use an AC dorm-size refrigerator that has a complete freezer. And buy it at Walmart for $130. I can buy 10 of those refrigerators for the same price as one DC refrigerator that is the same size that would hold the same amount of food. A lot of people, when I made a video about someone had blocked us in, a lot of people commented that they just couldn't believe that anybody would do that they would block you in. And a lot of people suggested, I suggested in a video, that they're just people who don't care about your safety. They don't care. And a lot of people suggested, no, they probably just got in late, they were tired or something. The reality was, no, they stayed there the entire weekend and they were drinking and having a good time, and there was just no way I was going to ask them to move. They knew we were there. They saw us going in and out of the camper. They just didn't care that they blocked us in. The thing is this is not the first time this has happened. This is the third time in a year and a half that people have decided that my campground was theirs and they were going to do whatever they could to have it. The first time was in South Carolina, and we parked right in a specified campground, and the water spigot was right behind us. Well, on Friday, there was, I think, 9 campers, decided they were going to squeeze in between us and a tree to come in behind us so they could get around that water spigot. One of the guys parked their truck right behind our camper, and it was so close that I could not get in between our camper and the truck. So we had to walk around their truck to get to the other side of the camper. Another time was down in Florida, and this wasn't by accident either. I've showed this footage a lot. There was a half a football field of spaces these guys could have parked. Yet they parked right next to us. We could not get our camper out. This is when we had the pop-up camper. They seemed to think that they were being friendly because we would walk out of our camper. Of course, they're right there. They were so close that we couldn't start a campfire. It would either caught their camper on fire or our camper on fire. And we would walk outside to go to the bathroom or anything, and they would be right there. Hi, how are you? Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.